Hello.
What's up? We're
It
back with
is.
more Fire Emblem Gaidening.
We are so gaidening. It is. This is time for more peak. Um, this is
The
all
more
max
emblem is
3.
fire in Gaiden.
Yeah, man. We need an emblem, fire reaction emoji here.
So true.
I gotta agree.
Uh, so all
Um.
so Alm and Celica just had their argument.
Mhm.
Uh, and I've come up with a new headcanon of what this actual argument was about. Um, and it's actually they were discussing whether or not Barbie or Oppenheimer was a better movie.
Ooh.
Um, obviously. I'm about to go see both of them today. I've already seen Barbie, but I'm doing the back to back, right? And so I was thinking about this, and I was like, I think Alm is the kind of guy who thinks that the Barbie movie hates men, um,
Oh.
and is so engrossed in the idea of nuclear bombs that he just loves Oppenheimer. And I think Celica's so girl boss that she is such a big Barbie fan. Um, yeah, that is the headcanon here.
Mhm.
They were getting
That's
really pissed
great.
at each other.
As you can see, we do have a couple freeloaders right now. We've got Silk,
Woo!
Clive, and Lucas still here, and I'm not allowed to use them. I didn't draft them. I don't want them here. They're bad units, actually. You heard me right.
Yeah, they're
Silk,
terrible.
terrible,
Silk
awful.
bad. Silk
Can't even deal
sucks.
damage that well.
Exactly. Terrible
Um,
unit.
Claire is so much better.
Yeah,
And because of that,
Claire's
we're
sweet.
shoving them down in the corner while we go and kill the rest of these people. But hopefully we'll be able to find a place to relieve ourselves of their presence soon enough. But
Yeah.
back to Barbie and Oppenheimer. Um, I think isn't the actual reason where it's like almost like really like I want to fight Rigel and stuff. So he's literally just warmongering like that's some pretty
Yeah, kinda.
Oppenheimer type shit. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I would agree. Like, cause what the argument is like, almost like we have to fight back. Like this war isn't gonna stop if we just like sit here and defend. We have to go take it to their turf. And Selka's like, nuh-uh. And what she's like, I forget specifically how she like defends this point of like we should. It's like we need to go figure out what the hell's wrong with Milla, and make Milla not bad or whatever. Milla doesn't feel so good, so she has to go fix Milla.
Yeah, she's like, Milla's a
And
little sicky. We need to go help Milla. And he's like, but I need to fight people and kill them in the glory of
yeah,
combat. Um, both pretty valid courses of action of some sense. Um, we're
hmm
starting to get some more level ups. Cliff is now available for promotion into Paladin, and Python has just leveled up speed again. Python has become kind of speedy, which is very unlike Python. And this time, he usually doesn't become speedy until he promotes, from my personal experience, because um, you want to have him use the steel bow so he gets that extra like range. But he just doesn't double like at all when you do that until he promotes. But he's doubling
yeah,
now with the steel
bro,
bow.
can Alm can't hit 90s for shit.
Yeah,
This is the second one he missed in like 2 seconds.
he's continuing his Baron cosplay.
Right. So he is doubling now, but he's doubling and missing once.
Yeah, for sure. There's a couple archers on here which are kind of scary, and there's also the cabs coming from the left side. And if there's one thing about Gaiden, it teaches you for sure that you need to take every engagement you can on advantageous terrain because the terrain is fucking ridiculous in this game.
Yeah, the
Um,
fucking terrain.
you could have the worst
Wild.
like field positioning ever, but as long as you're on like the one random tile of like not field, if you're on the one little tree, you win against like a horde of people probably.
Yeah.
because it cuts their
Fucking avoid
hit in
tiles.
half.
You got like one RN avoid tiles, and like they're gonna always have like probably like 55 hit on you, Damod.
Yeah, and that's
Uh,
why Gray's able to just sweep up this entire crowd of people. Um, provided he
it's like
hits his
45 hit
90s.
exact. Yeah, more 90s being missed.
There are
Average Fire Emblem
also a
Gaidening
grand
experience.
total of 2 different mages on this map. One Arcanist and one Witch, and they are quite scary because most of our units don't have res. That would be if they were smart and like did things that were scary to me, but instead they just kind of slowly walk at me until I can kill them with someone like Claire or Python. I don't.
Has the witch even moved yet?
Uh, she's just like moved down once
That's crazy.
and like not teleported. I don't get it. I really don't. I was also scared that the witch would teleport to like the people I haven't drafted and like then I'm cheating. But she doesn't do that, even though that would have been very smart. She probably would have done a fuck ton of damage to Lucas.
She probably would have one-rounded Lucas.
Yeah,
What
I
it's
mean
worth.
he's base level, so
I mean, I don't know Lucas Gaiden calcs.
hmm
Um,
they
yeah,
finally
there's
she finally decides to teleport and goes for Alm, who can counter, which is what? I mean, he does 1 damage, but what the fuck? Huh? Not anyone else?
love how he went for healing AI and walked the Arcanist, I think, and then just the Arcanist just didn't heal him.
Yep, that was great. That was so
Does the
good.
Arcanist have heal this early? I don't even
I
remember.
think
Like I
I
know they
think it
get heal.
they do. They do. I think they always have heal as enemies in this game. I don't know if that's true
I
about
think so.
Echoes, but the like got the Celica Act 1 stuff was like they had heal. So I assume this
Okay.
guy has heal.
Yeah, it would be safe to assume that that guy had heal too.
Yeah. Uh Barbenheimer. Very great that you get to see Barbenheimer. That's very nice.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoy
That
that. I've not seen either of them yet, but I am going to see Barbie later. Unfortunately, do not have the time to see Oppenheimer directly afterward, which is just so sad.
that is very sad.
But
Um,
I will at some point see them both back to back.
yeah, it's
Mhm.
it's fun as like a thing. Like, cause I just got out of band camp, and so like that was just like a thing that like spawned. It was just us joke. I don't remember exactly how it started, but like I'm going to do it with like a couple of other like a couple of friends from band. Um,
That's nice.
and hopefully it is very silly.
hmm
Um, we're actually seeing Oppenheimer first. Um,
Oh,
yes, we're doing
unique
Oppenheimer
take.
into Barbie. Um, with the initial logic of like so actually initially it was going to be 4 people. It became 5 because we couldn't decide which movie to see first. Um, and that was our way of deciding was to add a whole another person to this trip. Um, and uh, brain function for a second. Like I actually said to go see Oppenheimer first, with the logic being is that I really just didn't want to end on Oppenheimer. That felt like I want to like I want to like not think about it for too long after I
That's
see the
fair.
movie.
That's fair. Um, I've actually for this map there's a bunch of mages, right? I've elected to
Yeah,
store the bolt sword on Alm and instead use the steel sword because this is like the one map where that's probably okay because like
yeah,
Alm doesn't do damage with the bolt sword and he does damage with the steel sword, so
yeah. That is a reasonable decision.
hmm
Um,
even though he can no
having
longer
comp
counter, I'd rather not counter and deal damage than uh will deal damage on player phase, and then counter and deal 1 damage on both phases. Like,
Also having a combat Claire for this map in particular, this is Claire's best map if you already use her,
yes.
probably. Because she is like an enemy with red, or an enemy. She is a unit with which is upper than anybody else here, and also flight for a map with so much fucking so
Yeah.
many fucking forest tiles. Like,
Another thing actually is, well, first of all, this map uses the terrain against you because you can't really use the terrain, but they can because magic
Yep.
ignores terrain. But they can stand in the terrain all you want or all they want. But another thing about this is, first of all, we actually have 2 units with res because for some reason Cliff has a bunch of res right now. I'm not sure
wild.
if that's normal, but he has like he doesn't have as much as Claire, but he has like close. Um,
That's good. Take that, Cliff Sweep.
and also Gray finally hits the level of promotion. Unfortunately, we will not be able to promote for a little while. Like, there's just no things, and there's not enough. I can't really go back to the last shrine to promote them because then the random encounters will start spawning, and I don't really want that.
I hate having that moment in like
Yeah.
Echoes and Gaiden. Like, you don't want to go back because then you're just gonna get fucking like all the fucking skirmishes are gonna start spawning and it's gonna be annoying and obnoxious and I hate it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't go back, then you're just no promotion for like 10 years. Like, you don't get to promote until after like Desay, I think. No, it's right before Desay.
No, it's
Um.
after to say.
Oh yeah, no, it is after. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you don't get to promote until just after Desay.
I
Um,
think it's
and
after the
that's
map after to say actually.
yeah, I believe you're right. Which is such a long time to wait for promotion, especially in this game where it's like those levels aren't carrying over to shit, and it's like, and it's promotions that are you just want to get those stats because you can't. They're not flat bonuses. They're class bases.
Yeah, it's like there's no downside really to promoting in this game.
Yeah.
Um, but it really it really hurts when you have these long stretches without promoting and you have units who can promote. And also
Yeah.
I'm doing this little dance thing so I can get the paladin to attack us. Uh,
Yeah. That's good.
this skirmish, this one took some out of me. I'm not gonna lie to you. First of all, it's a skirmish, so I do take the opportunity to kill off my undrafted units.
Woo.
Second of all, because then I won't be really breaking draft rules, right? Um, because it's a skirmish, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Um, but there's an archer, arcanists, there's a paladin, and they're scary, like actually, and they're somewhat hard to deal with because they also keep going in the forests.
Yeah.
Um, it's kind of upsetting. They hurt a lot, and I fail a couple attempts at this. You'll see this one. Spoiler alert: this run fails. I lose someone. I don't remember who, but someone dies. That I don't want to die. Like Clive, I want to die right now, but for some reason, this
Th-
skirmish was the bane of my existence. And because they initiated, they move first, which means if I like retreat and come back, they will always move first now. Like I've been locked into this. I can't do anything else until I beat this skirmish. Very whack. Bye, Luca.
Lux's sprite in this game is honestly a little pathetic
Yeah.
because like it's the kind of sprite that I would attach to like the Donal or Mozu kind of shit. Like,
Yeah. The
pathetic
Baron
villager
sprites are
bitch.
badass, but the like regular soldier sprites are kind of, you know, sad.
Yeah, a little pathetic.
hmm
Like, does he even know how to hold a lance? I don't think so.
He's like holding it like at his like hip.
Yeah, like that's what I expect out of Mozu or Donald, not a fucking soldier.
Yeah, this dude's been trained to not do that. Look at this bozo.
Like, man, what the
Mhm.
fuck is out there? You might as well just be holding a fucking stick next to his, you like, having a stick sitting at his side. You know,
Yeah,
what the
like
fuck?
it's like you're um it's like he's like doing those like fake marching drills and he's like got like a bar at his stick and he's like trying to like the thing you do at the gym. I forget what they're called. Is it just marches? I think it's just marches.
I have no idea.
I don't know. I haven't been to the gym in a while. I play Fire Emblem instead because I'm a gamer. Haha.
So true.
Um, you can see I've actually elected to, rather than like forming up my units, to like scatter them just so I can put them in the forest tiles because that's how good forests are in this game. It's stupid.
Yeah,
But
forests
despite
are
the
nuts.
forest tiles, Python is kind of dying at the moment. He's just like not having a good
It's
time.
fine.
He's getting hit like a bozo, a loser.
It's fine. He'll just dodge in the future, Lamau.
Yeah. Um, I just gotta trust.
Yeah, it's in the Python sweep.
Python sweep. We love Python in this
Ah,
community.
we do.
We also, by the way, in this act of Fire Emblem Gaiden, we get 2 units that I have drafted, um, added to my party, and they are Ryuto, aka Luthier, and Matilda, who was actually the last Gaiden person left standing in the draft. For some reason, no one took her. Anyway, Python did not dodge.
Did what's his face? The bad merc in
Jesse,
Selikarat. Yeah, Jesse.
I
Did he get
drafted
drafted
him.
first?
No, he did not. I drafted him. He is the fourth to last draft from Gaiden.
That's wild.
After him, Noma, Claire, and Matilda somehow like beat each other out. I'm not sure how. Anyway, this one also failed in a similar fashion, so I'm just going to skip through this. Oh wait,
Wild. Imagine losing in Fire Emblem.
shit.
You go too far.
This one did not fail. Fuck.
Ah, I see. Not a failed attempt.
You know what? It's all right. This part will all get cut out.
And the Fire Emblem is Gaidening.
Me when I guide in my Fire Emblem.
I
Um,
love Gaidening my emblem.
Me when I guided my emblem till I.
When when she Gaiden on my emblem till I fire.
Actually, is
Extremely
this
loud
the
and
same
correct
one? I
buzzer.
genuinely don't know.
I don't know.
Nope, this is the new one. Okay. All right, there we go.
She fire.
This
On
one
my she
this one is the one we win. I'm pretty sure. Um, we move our expendables, our undesirables forward, our undrafted losers. Luca
Yeah,
gets
undrafted losers.
almost one rounded. I love Luca. I love Lucas. I think he's a very good character, quite usable. Um, but man, if you don't put levels into him, he dies pretty quickly, doesn't he? Then
Yeah,
again, this is base level Luca in Act 3, but like still.
he needs his knight promotion in order to actually do any sort of combat, and even then he's just kind of budget Lucas, and this is at a point where Lucas is kind of like not useful anymore.
Yeah.
Um,
Um,
if you're playing like at a fast pace, at slower paces, like Lucas is great, if not like pretty good, or like is like pretty good, if not great. By this point,
mhm.
um,
How I actually did this one is I just turboed to beat the paladin. I would just like I Excalibured him, I hit him with Python, and then I hit him with Claire, stepping outside of the forest to do so. Because I was like, this guy's a mega threat. He doubles like a bunch of my units. He does a lot of damage. Um, I need him gone, and so I
right.
did. And then I um, just go attack with my units. Technically, oh whoa, it's cheating because they're dealing damage. Well, it's a skirmish, and I want them to die faster. That's literally
And
the
also
reason.
like your mom, you're not
Hmm.
playing this run.
I also kill
Like,
the Arcanist really quickly, or at least disable him, getting him to 1 HP.
yeah, effectively is dead.
Yeah, he's like literally running at us without attacking because he's trying to get to the heal tile. He will never make it there.
Will never
Loser.
loser.
Lucas dies. Silk died a bit ago. Clive is still alive, unfortunately. Um,
Home continues his Baron cosplay as he
mhm.
gets doubled by everything, but only takes 1 damage or dodges.
Yeah, he's kind of good, but it like the jankiest way an Alm could ever be good.
Yeah,
Um,
this is the most non-alm way to be good ever. But like, I got mad respect for it because like armor mages are like so fucking cool of a concept,
yeah.
and he's armor maging right now. Like,
If you want more defense mage action, check out the FE6 tag lock where Effollow 8, who is our Hector, randomized into a female mage and has 15 defense. Um,
that's fucking swag. I have not been watching that. Maybe I should go watch it for that. Very swag. Armor
yes,
mage Hector.
he's
Uh,
he's really cracked. It's very funny because we self-inserted ourselves over the lords. Um,
right.
Effollow was Hector, became a mage, crazy. I, hilariously enough, became a cavalier as Ellie would,
Oh my God.
and is
Roche is a cavalier. I
yes,
didn't know that.
canon outcome. Clive
Real?
Clive almost dies, but he should actually die. This makes me very upset. No, never mind. He
There we
dies.
go. Clive dies. What a loser. If he wanted to survive, he should have been drafted.
Yeah, he should have been drafted. That's
He's a
people who
mage.
get drafted notoriously survive. Um,
Yeah, always.
hmm This will happen to every single unit that I draft, hopefully. Generally, if I draft people, I like to use them the whole way, just because, like, that's like what
I-
the point is.
If you draft a unit to kill them, then like, where's the fun in that?
I
You know?
know. If I drafted Claire, I'm using Claire. I'm not gonna
Right.
sugarcoat it. I'm gonna use Jesse when we get there, which is also gonna be great because I also have Atlas, so I'm gonna have to be training those two side by side.
I mean, training Atlas isn't actually too bad. All you gotta do is like promote him to Archer and set him out of skirmish. Like that's a thing. Like
Mm-hmm.
I've heard a lot about Echo's draft, funnily enough, and that's a thing you can do is you can just
Yeah.
like Atlas only loses like what is it like 2 turns over Leon.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I also save state right here just because I do not want to lose um this skirmish after beating the final boss of the Paladin plus
yeah.
Arcanist. Um, Something you may
Tuma's
have
pretty
noticed
pathetic
with
compared to these
Alm's level
guys.
up is he's starting to actually get some speed. Like he's leveled up speed a couple times by now. Um, he's starting to actually get a speed stat, and he's like sometimes not getting doubled anymore. When he was getting doubled, it was for 1 damage, but now he's getting like 1 damage. It's kind of interesting. He's becoming a good Baron, like Bors or Gwendolyn.
So true. Well, I mean, neither of them are barons. Those are just
Oh, that's
generals.
true. That's true. Those if they had a tier 3 class.
Yeah. Or if they had the if they just had tomes, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Another thing is
it's-
after the same map we get the Regal Sword, which while it doesn't have the 1-2 range and it doesn't hit on res like the Bolt Sword, it has a fuck ton of might and it also heals us per turn like a ring does or like a, holy the Holy Lance does. It's like a Pokemon leftovers type thing. And I think
what
this
else
is
is Pokemon
generally
leftovers?
better for our Olm specifically because it means he does a fuck ton of damage, like even more than he was already doing. Um, and because he has so much defense and he like doesn't take damage, it's like good, you know. But that's
What
for
are the
after we
stats
beat
of
to
the?
say. And we won't see the Bolt Sword retire a moment sooner than this, really. We saw it a brief stint with the Steel Sword, but really, there's no reason to not use it. Also, I've been thinking maybe of using the like traveling merchant dude who's in the Luthier village, up ahead, to send a the steel sword to Celica's party, but I was like, I think we already have like good enough swords there, and our only swords user at the moment is Celica herself, and she has like the holy sword. Um, so I don't know. Maybe I'll do that once we get like Atlas, so I could maybe promote him easier into Archer. Gray almost fucking dies here, and I was like terrified. He's at 1 HP. It's
Shit.
Yeah,
So
terrifying activities.
the Royal Sword is only 7 might, but it also is 100 hit and 20 crit, so it's still like really nuts.
Yeah.
Uh,
Alm crits a lot with it, and
yeah,
I said it's like high might. It's high effective might because Alm, even though our Alm has a a distinctively large strength stat, most Alms will have a pretty large strength stat by this point in the game.
yeah.
Um, most Alms will be doing like 15 damage per. Well, probably more like 12, but our Alm is doing like 16 damage per hit with
Yeah,
it.
but there's also
And
that's also Lightning Sword doing the work there because Lightning
yeah,
Sword just does flat 15, given that
but
enemies have
like
negative res.
With the Regal Sword, he was doing 16 damage per hit
Yeah,
against like Cavaliers, which aren't the
I
bulkiest,
mean
but they're
they
more
have
bulky
bulk.
than a lot of units in this game.
Yeah, they're like the
Another
second or
drawback
third
of the Regal
bulkiest
Sword
class.
is the Bolt Sword does ignore the terrain bonus. So if there's
Yes.
a map like this where there's a lot of um, forests, it's a lot better to use the Regal Sword.
Yeah.
Um, we are this map. Okay, this is the map with just the three Cavaliers, the three Paladins, the three Musketeers. Great. I decide to just
Well,
like bait them with my Horse Slayer guy, but Python and Claire are kind of stuck up there. And that's kind of scary. That rhymed.
yep.
Um,
Uh,
because I
this
don't want Python getting hit, and I don't think just Claire can defend him from that. But Forest Tiles, yippee. Um,
oh yeah, Fernand's not here, is he?
yeah, he doesn't
Because Fernand doesn't
exist.
exist.
It's just
Wild.
Slade, or in this name, his in this game, his name is Slater.
Wait. Oh yeah. Wait. No, this is Slade. This is because in this game in Echoes it's Fernand and Berkut, and neither of those people exist in this game.
Yeah.
Oh my
Um,
god.
am I this game? This is the chapter with Slade in it, right? Am I actually losing my mind? This is the one where they
I
change.
mean, maybe,
It
but
might also just
like
be three generic paladins. I
it
think it
might be
is
three
actually
generic.
just three generic paladins. Oops.
It might be three generic paladins.
Yeah, it is.
All I
It's
know in this
it.
game or in Echoes, it's Fernand, Berkut, and a generic paladin.
Yeah. Shout out generic paladin.
Shout out to generic paladin. It's my favorite Echoes character.
Mm-hmm.
I Now that I think about it, I think that makes this chapter even funnier because like it's literally a three enemy map with no story prevalence.
Yeah, it's so. I mean, they made it
Like,
into like a really cool story map, but damn. Anyway, did you see Python hit that like 15% hit rate?
let's go
Did you
Python.
see him do that again?
Yeah,
And
Python.
you're about to see Claire hit like a
Let's
45.
go.
We're so gaming. Anyway, I was wrong about that being the one that I failed. That skirmish being the one I failed like twice to. This is the one. Um, yeah. We got Ryuto. We got the No, we don't get the item in there because we need to save the village girl from gargoyles to get the item there. I forget what that item is actually. We do get it later on because I mean, we get it anyway because the gargoyles are blocking the way to the shrine, and I really want the shrine,
Yeah.
so might as well. But it's a pretty nice item from what I remember, I guess. I might put it on the screen right now if I remember to. But we will see it
Baller.
later anyway, so who knows? But Ryuto, I'm I'm glad I got him. He was my fourth pick in the draft for Gaiden specifically. Um, he is pretty squishy. He's pretty comparable to our Tobin, our Robin, or if you
Excalibur and
will.
all.
Yeah, they both have Excalibur, and they're both kind of squishy mages. At this point, I believe Tobin is a little higher leveled than Luthier because and this matters because the promotion for mages in this game is like a really high level. It's like I don't know, 13 or something. It's really weird. Really
Yeah.
weird that it's that big.
Isn't the female mage promotion level like fucking 20 or some shit?
Yeah,
Something
it's
stupid.
um and also the female mage promotion level is different from the male promotion level. It's
Yeah, I mean they're entirely two different classes. Like the female one
I
gets to
know,
use swords.
but it's like a significant difference. But they're both really big. They're both like a really high level. And we
Yeah.
really want to get that promotion because then we will finally have a source of healing that is not healing tiles, slash held items, because they will get recover or like just the generic white magic on promotion, I believe. Yeah, this okay. This skirmish has us in the position of the three paladins, and there are now a lot of cavaliers and archers rushing at us, right? From all
Right.
sides, and because we it triggers upon us leaving Luthier's village, they come right at us, and they kill the shit out of us. And it takes me like reordering the party a few times to do this. It oh
This, this is
this one
probably
this
how
one I
the
failed
three paladins
twice or
felt.
three times, which is hilarious because it is now the most I've failed a chapter, and it's not a real chapter. It's a fucking
It's
skirmish. And the
another
other
fucking
skirmish I
skirmish.
also failed. Like,
Like skirmishes in this game is fucking rough. It's the optionals that well,
yeah.
I say optionals. They don't you don't really get a choice. It's how fucking RNG.
Hmm.
Um like people out there who spend all their time trying to optimize like Gaiden and Echoes confuse me because like come on man. I don't want to sit here fucking trying to deal with these skirmishes. I fucking
Yeah,
hate that shit.
it's like trying to optimize like a really janky like the speed run of like a really janky joke like it's like I saw someone LTC 0% like Super Thracia. It's like that.
Right.
You're optimizing a steaming pile of jank. This
I
game
need
was
to
not meant to be optimized. This game was meant to be
yeah.
experienced. This is what peak looks like.
Right. What it what all does because I have not played nor looked at Super Thracia. I've heard of it, and I know like generally what it is. It's from my understanding, it is something of a Fire Emblem Kaizo hack. Um,
Yeah.
What is Super Thracia like? What is it? What is this Super Thracia all about? What
Um,
happens in Super Thracia?
all I've really experienced of it is that LTC I mentioned. I believe it was done by Reploids. I don't know. I'll put it in the
Reptor?
description probably.
It
Reptor.
sounds like a thing. Like yeah, because I think Reptor is the fucking Hubert PFP. I think.
Yeah.
Like
No,
he
that's Rangor. That's Rangor. I don't think it was him. I don't think it was him.
um
I'll put a link to the playlist in the description because it's heinous. In that game, there's just a lot of bullshit that happens. There's like a bunch of things called Ardens, which are just like giant barons with one move and like capped stats and everything, and you find them in like chapter
oh
one.
my god,
Um, and like everything,
that's so Arden.
there's literally like invisible enemies. Anyway, I actually cut out the failed attempts, so you just get to see the one that succeeded. But trust me, I failed that twice or three times. And now we fight Desai, or the infamous General Dozer, if you will. He has initiated a coup, if you haven't heard.
Oh, General Dozer has initiated a coup. Oh god, whatever will we do?
Um, thankfully, this map is normally pretty hard if you don't have things like Excalibur, an extremely tanky Alm, or an extremely tanky Claire of all things. And we also get Matilda in this chapter, which we can do the whole little green unit trick where we like retreat and come back and Matilda disappears from her cell like a fucking Houdini. Um, but I opt to not do that again because I'd never do that trick because I don't think it's very applicable, even though many people love to use it. Simply because that guy in the top left corner, he's a cancer. He spawns a bunch of zombies, and those zombies will normally go for Matilda, but if they're not, they'll go for you, which doesn't like it doesn't change the difficulty that much. They're not like a they don't do a whole lot, but they gum up my like movement squares. And I don't want to do that because I want to have the most like efficient time eliminating Dozer with my Excalibur and Bolt Sword. And I don't want any zombies like occupying squares I want to move through.
Uh-huh. So I pulled up Super Thracia now because now I'm thinking about it. What the fuck are Ivel's stats? What the hell?
You don't
I
have to worry
like
about those.
I mean, I get that she gets fucking, but like her stats are above the cap of the base game. Her base stats are above the cap of base Thracia.
Yep.
That is funny as fuck. I mean, so are Dagdar's, but like, that's funny as hell.
Anyway, I crit kill Dozer with the bolt sword. Just crit him. I didn't even crit with Excalibur, which I was trying to do. Yeah. Super Thresh is a gem. From what I
and Asbel starts
understand.
with
And
a
by
wind
gem
tone.
I mean
That's
like
so huge.
you know that is it like a game theory video where he's like actually the Chaos Emeralds are made of like human shit or something?
That
Or is it
sounds
like a
like a
Brian
game
David
theory
Gilbert
video.
video? Something like that. Claire dies by Claire.
That sounds like both of them. Big shout out to Brian David Gilbert.
Yeah,
Love those videos.
they're so good. Sometimes we'll just rewatch them like 4 years later.
Yeah. No,
Um,
I do the same shit. Oh my god, they're so
but
good.
that's like that's what Super Thracia is to my understanding. It's a gem made of human shit.
Maybe I'll have to play Super Thracia one day, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
The Tinies in this
I
game? What the
recommend
fuck?
watching that LTC of it because it's fucking ridiculous.
What is this fucking game?
I remember
Alfred?
they roided the fuck out of Fabale, who's in that game.
Oh my god, what?
with like
Oh my god, he is roided the fuck out. What the hell?
yeah.
And he is the UFL? I mean, I don't know. I can't see the UFL stats on the Serenus Forest page, but
I
like,
think it's the same as FE4.
I mean, I would assume so. Um,
Um,
there's a lot
but
of whack ass characters here.
yeah, I'm pretty
Laura
sure.
Shell.
Yeah, Titania is also in that game for some
Yeah,
reason.
I saw Titania. Ishtar's here. Julius is here.
Yep. He.
Excuse me. Why is Julius here? What is the logic in that?
I don't know. He just fucking decided to be here.
Who is
It's weird.
Lawson and why does he have the all indict?
Katarina is in that game, and she's like, she uses like the generic like child portrait. You know,
Oh my god.
it's so weird.
I expect nothing less of a Super Thracia, I guess.
hmm
Um. Okay.
Um, those are actually doubles Alm, because for some reason he has like a decent amount of speed in this game, which is a little
Wild.
upsetting, but it's okay because Excalibur.
And Alm can't
Unfortunately, I
take
don't get the
damage.
crits that I want with Excalibur because those would do like 40 damage. But 10 times 2 off of just clicking Excalibur is pretty damn good damage. Especially when we're hopefully counterattacking with a Bolt Sword, which does like 10 more or whatever. I don't remember. Don't remember the calcs, but it's okay. Robin actually does a little less damage than Ryuto with his Excaliburs. For some reason. I guess he just has less magic power stat.
Um. I I think it's funny that Matilda's supposed to be captured here, and like, but she's too much of a girl boss to actually die to the fucking zombies that are raiding her place.
She hardly even takes damage. It's really funny.
Like hardly takes damage, and then also just like two rounds all of them,
Yeah.
and is doing like 11 times two. Like she sets a very good first impression.
hmm She also notably has like 10 base res,
Yeah,
which is pretty damn
like
crazy.
it's weird to think about the fact that Matilda's not actually that good of a unit, at least in Echo's meta, because she just kind of doesn't exist for long enough for
Yeah,
anybody to care.
like she's like between Clive and Zeke. That's like the whole
And
thing.
I mean, also like Zeke isn't very good because what the fuck are you doing with Zeke? Like the game's already over by that point. Because you like it's specifically in Echo's meta, you have a juggernaut capable of soloing the game by the time you recruit Zeke, so it doesn't matter.
That's kind of
Uh,
the case with Gaiden too, because Ulm, by then he's
yeah.
like crazy, and I think you have the killer bow by then, and then he just kind of sweeps the rest of the game.
Well, is the killer bow even in this game?
I don't remember, but he has the full range on bows. That's the whole thing. You give him a crazy bow.
Uh,
I'm pretty sure it's the killer bow. I might just be conflating Echoes and Gaiden, as many do.
yeah, because you can't obtain a killer bow naturally. You have to forge it. That's why, and I don't think the
Oh,
forge
then
is
it's
in this game.
probably not.
It's like
That's
the silver
probably
bow or
not
the
it
blessed
then.
bow or something.
hmm
That you probably give him. But like, if he has like, uh, Alm's issue in Echoes is that, I mean, one, a lack of amount, with a bow. Like if he was in Bow Knight, he'd be a slightly better because like there is a point in the game where you do want to be on a horse, and it's the end game where A doesn't have one and B doesn't has like three range. It's like a four range hunter's volley, which compared to the like seven range hunter's volley that you have on your bow knights with 8 movement, um, and happens to be named Cliff and has 30 end game speed
Yeah.
and at least 20 attack, then that's enough to one round everything. if not fail a couple of 1 rounds, but like still crit anyways because Hunter's Volley Lamau, like it doesn't even matter. Like the game is over and it's all in the hands of Cliff.
It's pretty crazy. Ryuto gets a pretty banger level up just then, but it doesn't matter so much as the fact that he's getting closer to promotion. Um,
Yeah.
we're a little in trouble of Alm dying just because he's been getting hit way too much by Dozer. But it's okay because Dozer's about to die with the full force of everyone doing 1 damage to him and taking 17 back.
Alm sweep. Baron
Alm
Alm sweep.
sweep. Alm is kind
Alm
of
wishes
just
he could be in a game with every class.
Alm is really good in Gaiden. It's just like he doesn't have as much move, of course, but he has the full range on bows, and his growths are so much crazier than anyone else's in this game.
Yeah.
Like everyone else has like Cliff has good growths, right? Alm has that, but he's not also like super reliant on promotion, mostly because he doesn't fucking have one.
Yeah.
But he has the bolt sword, he has the regal sword to carry him through the points where like that might as well be a promotion, right? Um, or a side grade with the regal sword, really. Um, it's it's very very like he just has the full range on bows, right? And once you get a good
Yeah.
bow, which I know you do at the end game, it's what you do in LTCs, it's what you just do in optimal plays with Gaiden, which it's been a while since I've seen that.
You get like a silver bow in like, if I remember correctly, you get like a silver bow in the like map that's like a bunch of like walls, which is pretty undescriptive, but like it's the fort map that's like it's just a bunch of protruding walls, and that's all the fucking map is. I don't
Oh,
know how best to explain it.
the one where it's just
Um,
like 3 lines of
yeah,
walls.
yeah, actually, it's like 5 lines actually,
Oh
but
yeah,
like
yeah,
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 it's just a
yeah.
bunch of lines, and you walk through the lines and you get pelted at, or you warp people in there, and then you just fucking murder the bow knight sitting in there. I
Mm-hmm.
want to say one of them gives you a silver bow. It's either that map or the map before it, but I don't remember.
Yeah. It might be that. It might also be like a holy bow. I feel like it
You
might
get
have
a
been a holy bow
you get
because
a
of
you
the.
do get a holy bow, but I believe you get that inside of one of the shrines.
Okay. I feel like I remember it because I think that also was a way you could help his bulk because of the like HP recovery that the the holy bow gives. But I
Right.
just remember the main strategy with Alm late game is to just strap a bow on him and just run at your enemies, and he will take no damage and deal a fuck ton back at like 5 range, 1 to 5 range.
Yeah. That's
That's
kind of
like,
just. I mean, that's Echo's meta, but now with Alm and Gaiden.
yeah, it's like, that's what you do with like Cliff or somebody in
Yeah.
Echoes, but now you're just doing it with Alm, and now Cliff
Yep.
is like a dread fighter or a mage or a bow knight, and he's also crazy. Or in this case,
Yeah.
a paladin, I guess.
Yeah. Paladin, I guess. I don't know, because in Echoes, like the meta is to just 2 mages plus Merc, um, and you just
Really?
use those Yeah, you use those 2 mages to feed up every kill you can into Cliff, um, and until Cliff like promotes all the way to Dread Fighter, and then Dread loops back into the Archer tree, and then just steamrolls a bunch of levels in the late game because he's an unkillable god already, and and like he gains a fuck ton of XP because the XP curve does not go down for him. Um,
Huh.
it's he gains XP like he's an unpromoted unit still, so you can just steamroll insane amounts of levels into him
That's
for free,
ridiculous.
because his stats are so bonkers.
Jeez. I thought it was like you do one dread fighter, one archer, one
Nope.
mage. Because it was just like you want
Nope.
a mage to deal with like the bosses with big defense, one dread fighter to dread loop, and one archer because archers are good in this game and you want one. I thought that was the whole deal, but
Nope. Because here's the thing, right?
huh,
Your archer, your dread fighter is your archer. And also the only like archer duties that you actually need can just be done by Python, and so it doesn't matter.
huh,
And having two mages makes it quite a bit easier to feed into your Mert. Because Cliff does not do a whole lot of damage in the early game before he gets like a weapon. Um, well, I mean he does decent damage, I think. I don't remember. 'Cause I want to say actually no, it's like I don't remember what his base attack is.
I did
Um,
not know that. Echoes is a
but yeah, no,
very
Echoes
cool
is a
game.
weird ass game. Um, and Celica side meta is a thing. We're not on Celica side, so
Yeah. Um,
but
for this portion of the game, there's only that one guy in the bottom right corner left. Um,
oh yeah,
so what I do is I simply sit on the heal tiles forever and then change it to 800% emulation speed. But then because of do that, instead of clicking end turn, I click leave game or something. Or like suspend, whatever that button is. So I have to close the emulator and go back in, or I mean the hardware, official hardware, and go back in
right.
and
We love
just
official hardware.
do it again, which was very annoying. But just sitting on the heal tiles forever and eventually making my way over there to just kill this one fucking dude in a little shed in the fucking outhouse of the castle. Just sitting there. Ladies and gentlemen,
You,
Gaiden. Peak.
yes, greatest game in the series. When the Fire Emblem is Gaidening,
Mm-hmm.
um, and there's some. I mean, they changed that in Echoes to be a witch, who would just teleport to you, so it didn't
Yeah.
matter. But I guess in this game it is an Arcanist.
It's an
So you got to
Arcanist
go
with
kill them.
Fortify, so he's even like
Yeah.
consequential for the most part. He heals up Dozer sometimes, but like all that happens, you go over there and you just bonk him with Claire, and then like he maybe survives, and then you hit him with Python and he dies. That's like all that he's here for. But you have to take the whole thing out there, and I was like, I really do not want to lose this, so I like healed everyone up, and I got like everyone over there. Uh,
It's
yeah,
fire.
fantastic.
Game design is my passion.
Um, he also has slime, which I think it's your first time seeing slime, which is like the 3 range one, I think.
Yeah, it's Meyer and Echoes.
Yeah, it's. I mean, that's cool, I guess. Bye.
Very pro gamer.
Cliff with the speed level up once more. And we have killed Dozer, and his coup is over. It's so over.
Yeah.
The infamous General Dozer. And we also get Matilda, who's very good, very happy, and we get the Regal Sword. We are so gaming. And now that actually also stops the like skirmishes from spawning from this area, I believe.
Makes
Very
life
nice.
easier.
One thing about this is I try to like give the bolt sword to Claire, but it doesn't work. I have no idea what weapon Claire uses in this game. I thought it was swords because that's what it
That's
looks
crazy.
like she uses,
Nah,
and
she's
maybe
Lancer.
you just can't use the bolt sword because it's like Holmes' thing or whatever. But I feel like you could do that for like a mercenary villager.
Yeah. You can use the bolt sword on a merc.
I don't
It's
know what
not a
Claire
big.
does. I'm just keeping that leather shield on her. Who
I mean,
knows?
she's kind of sliding with it because she like just keeps critting things, and so it doesn't
Yeah.
matter how fucking low her might is. Like
It
Claire sweep, frankly.
Claire is sweeping. Claire, okay, let's not sugarcoat this. Claire fucking sucks ass in this game, like
Oh yeah,
most
no,
of the
Claire's
time.
terrible.
Um, but for some reason in this game, she's kind of like in this specific run, she's kind of going crazy with it. I don't get it.
Right.
She's just leveling up good.
Like, frankly, I mean, we love a Claire sweep, right?
Hmm.
She is so hashtag girl boss. That's awesome for her. But like, God, Echoes is so fun. Like, Gaiden Echoes is so funny because why are we living in a world where pegs are ass? Um, well, this isn't the only game where I'd say Pegasus Knight's pretty ass.
Yeah.
But like, this is like, I mean, they're obviously the first one. The only other game at the top of my head, I was talking about this earlier, that I would say Pegasus Knights are pretty ass is Birthright,
Hmm.
specifically Birthright. Um, in Conquest and probably Rev 2, where like rally speed is useful, Peg is pretty good, if not actually really fantastic. But in in Birthright, you're fucking dealing with Tsubaki, which is nothing.
Yeah.
Like
I'm a
okay
okay.
combat unit.
I've drafted Subaki in the Forever draft, and I've also
Yeah.
drafted him in a recent Rev draft that I've been doing, and
Hmm.
I quite like Subaki. I really like using him. Nobody likes using him. Nobody does.
His
Um,
stats are so
and I get like his
Tsubaki.
stats or stuff. I think what it is like the current Subaki I'm doing. He's pretty blessed with his stats. I've made him
Right.
a samurai and a sword master.
Hmm.
Um, and normally that's like, oh, he has strength issues. My Subaki right now is like 4 point strength blessed. So maybe that's it. I mean,
Yeesh.
I have very good luck with getting blessed people, but Subaki has been legitimately in that draft. Um, he's currently my second best combat unit, but behind
Hmm.
literally fucking Korin, um,
Right.
which is like, you know, and he's doing really good for himself. I have other units that are struggling, like Orochi and stuff. You know,
Oroshi's always struggling.
Orochi, Orochi sometimes just don't eat. It's unfortunate. You hate to see it.
Or- Uh, I just checked Tsubaki's predicted stats at like 2010. Uh, 2010 Falcon Knight. He doesn't even breach 20 fucking strength at 2010.
Yikes.
Like, yikes.
Hmm.
And he has 21 speed. Now, effectively, that means he has 26 speed. 26 speed at level 10 Falcon Knight. What the fuck? Like, he doesn't make sense. This is the most nonsensical fucking Pegasus Knight I've ever seen.
Yeah, I think that
Like,
I read somewhere that the whole thing was that because he's like a perfectionist, his whole thing is that the character, like how they gave Arthur like really low luck, the whole like
yeah,
gameplay story integration thing was they gave him like um
he's
they
got a
gave
fuck
him
ton of
like
skill. He'll never miss.
yeah they gave him like so he specializes in all of the things that Pegasus Knights normally don't specialize in because he's trying
Yeah.
to like fill his gaps while also like neglecting some of the stuff that Pegasus Knights are good in, which makes him the jankiest fucking Pegasus Knight.
Yeah, don't you love your skill and defense heavy Pegasus Knight? Don't you just love that?
It's very nice
Like,
gameplay story integration and all, but dog, he is so goofy.
yeah. And the problem is like he would be good if there was flyer utility for him to perform, but there isn't.
Hmm.
There's chapter 8, which is like Hinoka's join map, regardless. So like, I mean, oh wait, hold on. He gets 1 chapter of exclusive flying utility before you get Hinoka, so it doesn't even fucking matter.
What a guy.
And
What a
and even
dude.
then, there's nothing for him to do in his join map, I don't think. But I also, it's been ages since I played that map, so I don't know.
Anyway, Alm's
Um,
doing 18 damage with the Regal Sword against these
let's go
Cavaliers.
all
And then he
Alm
crits
sweep.
and one-shots them.
Let's go all.
Um,
God. But also
wow.
just
He's so...
reclass your Korin.
I genuinely like using Tsubaki just because I'm a big fan of high defense, high move characters. Roche,
Right.
when he's not getting doubled, which is most of the game.
Yeah.
It's...
Uh,
But
my
I
issue with
understand
Tsubaki
not
is
liking him. 20 damage against that guy, by the way.
Let's go. The issue with Tsubaki is just use Malignite Korin Lamau.
Yeah.
Like, Malignite Korin will have the same, if not higher, defense than him. And also can strike on magic. And, like, has access to all the good, like, fucking, Hoshiden scrolls, which are pretty fucking good, like Horse Spirit and,
yeah. Ox
Calamity Gate and
Spirit,
shit.
I think. That's one of them, right? Is that one of the good
Ox
ones?
Spirit?
That's the one that gives defense, right?
I believe Ox Spirit does give 1 defense.
Yeah.
Can't remember if Ox Spirit is the bronze or the iron version of the weapon.
I think
Or
it's
I guess brass.
I think it's the iron. Because
I
brass is
think
rat. Brass is rat.
Yeah, brass is rat. And
Scrolls
like
are goofy.
I really like scrolls actually. I think
really
they're
like
really
them.
cool.
Can you educate me actually, Mr. Professor Irony, sir, about which? Because I've always wondered which weapons are better in like Hoshido versus Nor for each weapon type. Because I've never actually known this. I thought it was like. I thought scrolls were better. I thought Naginatas were better. I knew shurikens are better. I know that's one.
I mean, yeah, shurikens are. So, all right. I will do my faith's education as I am known to do. So, starting from we'll start with the base physical weapon types with katanas versus swords, lances versus naginatas, and axe versus clubs. So, I want to get the most obvious version of this out of the way first. I want to say that axes are better than clubs for like weird reasons. Let me check the iron club versus. So I don't have the Hoshin weapon stats at the top of my head. Okay, so Fate's
That'd be kind of
iron
weird if you
club,
did, to be honest.
6 might, 75 hit, 5 crit. So the main number I'm looking for is that hit rate. It's 6 to 75. The Faith Iron Hat axe is 8 to 70. So I mean axes and clubs are pretty close. It seems that axes have a little bit more might. Clubs have more hit, which is pretty massive actually. The thing is that realistically you're only really using bronze axes and brass clubs, and in that case like you're using like an 85 to 90 hit weapon regardless, and so you'd rather just take the 1 more might that the bronze axe is gonna have. But that one's relatively close. I'll say the bolt axe is better than anything that either weapon does. As like a specialty weapon, though there's like the Pike Ruin Club, which is pretty good in Birthright.
Pike Ruin Club is like the whole claim to fame with the clubs, right?
Yeah,
like
it's Pike Ruin Club, I've heard. I've never used a Pike Ruin Club because
it's really good. It's really good.
Yeah, it's nuts. I'm not gonna say it's not nuts. I just don't use it.
Makes Rinka usable.
Yeah. The problem is just getting her to, C rank axes when she starts to E rank Lamau.
But aside from Rinka also being usable as a backpack, I guess. But that's like, usable outside.
You can shove her. You can shove her on Kaze's back, and like she's good because Kaze's super nuts. And then like Naginatas versus Lances, I think it's the same story pretty much. I want to say Lances Let me check the
I always thought Naginatas were better. I genuinely did. And then I heard like
Naginatas.
someone say like Naginatas are like kind of mid compared to lances, and I was like, really? I'm not
680
sure where I
iron.
got that notion. I just kind of like played both
Well,
of them. And I was like, yeah, Naginatas are pretty good, but maybe it's also just like,
so it's the difference is 1 point of might that lances have, and Naginatas give you +1 defense and res. Um, without anything else like included.
hmm
Um, like, and neither of them have great weapons. That are like sitting in the class. Or sitting in the like thing. Like lances are pretty lame. You have like the beast killer, which is nice in conquest. And
mm,
then you have like the bolt naginata, which sounds good and should be good, and it has no good users.
huh?
Um,
Is the guard? I thought the guard Naginata was always pretty good.
oh yeah, I guess the guard naginata exists.
Yeah, I mean it's not like
There's usually
great, but I just thought it was really good to use on like Hinoka and like
yeah, and
Azura, of course.
Hinoka and Oboro quite like
Yeah.
it because it just means that they can eat hits for a while, and that's good. They
hmm
appreciate it. It's just I would rather just kill things
I know
generally.
Azura guard Naginata is like a whole reason to like train Azura's lance rank, but I don't think it's like worth it at all because it's
I
just
mean,
like
just don't fuck up.
yeah,
That's the answer I'm gonna give there.
don't
Don't fuck
enter
up.
combat with Azura, and also like at the point with Azura, probably the like 10 dodge from like a brass Naginata is probably better than the defense.
No, she has plenty of luck. It's she's not facing crit with either weapon. That's not the problem. It's just like whether or not she lives a single hit, and a guard naginata is gonna make sure she lives a single hit. So
I thought it was a void. Is it dodge or is it a void?
no, it's not dodge. It's not
Oh,
avoid.
it's
It's
dodge.
dodge.
Oh.
It's crit avoid.
Oh. I thought it was a
Yeah.
void. I know the difference between
No,
dodge and a void. I just thought it was
no, it's dodge.
okay. Interesting.
Um,
Yeah, but simply don't get hit. It's that easy.
so as for katanas versus swords, I'd say swords are pretty much kind of just better. So I believe katana's bonuses are like +1 speed, which you take -1 defense and res, which is fucking stupid because like why do shurikens get 2 speed and don't give you a defense like drop?
Yeah.
Uh, like that's fucking stupid. And an iron katana is 690.
And that also
Si
really hurts Hinata, doesn't it? Because he like well, he obviously needs he likes having the +1 speed, but it kind of hurts his defense in a specific way. From last time I
yeah,
played Birthright, I remember him having like struggling to live certain things by like very small margins, and I think it was because
yeah.
of katanas.
I mean, the katanas actually bite a lot of units in the ass. It bites Ryoma in the ass. It bites Korn in the ass because Yato is a the Yato is a katana regardless of its form, I believe. Even like the Shadow Yato is a katana. Don't quote me
Huh.
on that one though. Um, and that -1 defense just kind of sucks dick. Um, and like the Raijinto gets -1 defense, so you kind of have to fix that, and it sucks. Um, But like +1 speed is nice, but they have pretty much the exact same stats, and the katanas don't have any good like weapon like don't have any cool weapons over it besides like the Kodachi, and the Kodachi isn't even that good of a 1-2 range weapon because it's not particularly strong.
hmm
Um, and also swords have the Levin sword, and like the most important thing you can have in a weapon is being 1-2 range in fates, because 1-2 range in fates is still just as strong as it is in every other game in the series. The problem is it's just so inaccessible. Also, you were getting fucked by this gargoyle.
Yeah.
Shit.
This one doesn't work out. This one does not work
Um,
out.
as
Um,
for uh shurikens, yumis, and tomes. Tomes are actually about even because you're debating like Nosferatu over like the Horse Spirit and Calamity Gate, and the Lightning Tome, I suppose. Um, and at that point, it's contextual. Like you pick your tome based on what you're doing. Um, Ophelia is a unit that every conquest run should recruit because you get because her paralog rewards are so bonkers.
I've never
Because
done that paralogue actually.
you're getting a Horse Spirit, a Calamity Gate, a Lightning Tome, and a Spirit Dust.
That's pretty
Just
damn
for getting
good.
just for getting Odin to fuck. And those are all completely in Conquest. The Horse Spirit and Calamity Gate are only obtainable in that paralogue. So it
Jeez.
means Leo gets +3 speed. It means Corrin or Leo can, have the Calamity Gate. That's massive. It's huge. It's wonderful.
Hmm. Can I actually
Calamity
confess
Gate
something
Corrin.
to you, Mr. Professor Fates, Professor Irony Man?
Okay.
I have beaten Birthright about 4 times. I'm a true Birthright truther, and by that I mean I think it's okay. Um,
Okay.
I've beaten Rev about twice. Whatever. I have
Mhm.
never beaten Conquest.
Frankly, L.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm ashamed to admit it. It is an L.
Yeah, no,
Um,
that's an L.
I've just never beaten it.
That's
Partly because
great.
of Iron Man brain rot, where I want to Iron Man everything, but
And Conquest
I have not
Conquest
experienced
not a
that
game that I
that
would like
level
to
of
dive
peak
in.
yet. So I'm. This is why I'm mostly like Hoshido biased when it comes to Fates.
Right.
Also, Birthright was like my second game ever for Fire
Right.
Emblem. Um, so I'm very biased towards Birthright. That's why I think it's
Right.
okay, I guess, as opposed to
Um.
dog shit like many Fire Emblem fans. But
Yeah. It's
just
not like
wanted to
that
get this
bad.
off my chest.
It's carried by like Fate. It's carried by Fate. It's
Yeah.
really
Um,
good. Um. So. So hold on, I'll finish this debate, or not really debate. I'll finish
mhm.
this thought on like all the Hushin versus Norian weapons. Then that we're gonna have to cut the recording for now.
That's all
'Cause
right.
I have to go here in a second. So, shurikens versus daggers. They have the exact same might. I've actually been looking at this recently. The thing is that shurikens have 10 less hit for +2 speed, or I think it's 10 less hit. It's less hit for 2 speed, and overall that kind of makes shurikens a little bit better. Most units would rather use a shuriken than a dagger, unless your name is like fucking Kaze, who like has some hit issues, does not have speed issues. And I say Kaze has some hit issues. It's mostly just like shuriken is like 80, like the steel shuriken is like 80 hit, and like he like will only ever have like, oh no, he has 87 hit against this enemy and not 99 that
Yeah.
he would have with some other weapon. Like it's not that bad. Some exclusive weapons. So daggers have the hunter's knife, which is uber broken. It like hunter's knife is debatably one of the best weapons in the entire game on Conquest.
That is what
Um,
is a hunter's knife again? It's like
it's a beast killer, but for
that's it.
daggers, it's a 1/2 range, Rider's Bane and Kitsune Slayer.
That is
Like
pretty damn crazy.
bonkers. And like shurikens have like the flame shuriken, which is really good for Felicia. Felicia loves the flame shuriken because it means she one rounds everything she touches.
Yeah.
And it's part of the reason that I honestly think she's the better servant by a reasonable margin. At least
Really?
in
I thought
Conquest.
Jacob was always better because you would heart seal him into paladin and then he was like
No.
good.
I mean,
Really?
so like that's a thing, but I honestly think that's a meme or only exists for LTC. Like
Huh.
that's and I'm only talking like really, really LTC. Like you're losing maybe like a turn and a half over just by powering into Silas and doing the exact same thing.
Interesting.
Like the difference is like 2 speed that Silas doesn't have, and if you can just get that 2 speed on Silas, he is the exact same thing. It's
Huh.
I think the Paladin Jacob is like pretty much a joke. He also starts with double E rank, and like Silas is also starting with an E rank in lances, but like it in order for at least in Conquest, in order for Jacob to start lance, steal it, Silas. And what that means is that either Jacob needs to wait a map before he can start building his lance rank, or it means that you have to just take it off Silas, which isn't that big of a deal if you're focusing into Paladin Jacob, but I don't think it's that good. Anyways, Yumi's versus bows is like I think Yumi's are actually stronger. But they have like 20 less hit. It's really bad. Yumi's have like no accuracy, and so that basically means is that the only class that can wield them is the archer class. If you gave a Yumi to Niles, he would never hit for shit. He would miss everything. It would be pathetic, and Niles would be awful if he was stuck on Yumis. But he's not stuck on Yumis. He's stuck on bows, and so he's like fine. So like the archer class isn't bad with Yumis because they have like certain blow, but like everything else is terrible with them. Yeah, no, that's all the Fates weapons.
Wow. I
Yeah.
was just like I never knew this. I don't know that much about Fate's like meta, and I'm definitely gonna need it once we get to like the forever draft where I'm playing the Fates, because I'm gonna have to play all three Fates games, and my Fates draft picks weren't spectacular. I'm not gonna
give
lie.
me on here when you do the draft for the Fates games, especially Conquest.
Yeah,
I must be here for the Conquest.
I definitely will. We also got the Holy Lance that was in that chest that I forgot about. This is very nice. It lets us give it to, I think I give it to Gray, yeah. Gives him that healing over time. Plus it's just a decent, it's got like, it's better stats than like a fucking regular, like, unequipped lance, right?
Right.
And that's kind of the whole thing. While we were talking,
Zero
we
Mind's
did
better
see
than
that gargoyle map and my fantastic defensive formation there. Very proud of that.
It was wonderful. It was a work of art.
We saw the promotions of Python and our two paladins, our newly promoted paladins. Which is very nice. We love to see it.
We will need to take a pause on this recording for now. You'll probably just people will see just a jump cut, but it'll probably be. I will need to dip for a little bit, so.
Yeah. All right.
See you in a theoretical moment.
In a viewers, I'll put some funny transition. 3, 2, 1, go. Bah. We're back. We're back.
Yo, what's up?
Actually, between this time and last time we recorded, which for you guys watching was probably like a millisecond, both of us watched Barbie and not just Irony, so, you know.
Yep. Yeah, we come out as changed men in the quite a while that it took to get back to recording this.
Yep.
I have consumed the Barbenheimer. Did you just watch Barbie, or was it or was it the full Barbenheimer?
I did not get to watch Oppenheimer. I did, however, watch the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles at a separate time. But that was between this recording and the last recording, which of course took place during the small transition during the YouTube video.
YouTube is wonderful because you can just, shove a 2-week gap into the span of 2 seconds.
Yeah. Time isn't real when you think about it. Anyway, this map has archers. Those are scary.
This map fucking sucks. I hate this map. Like, you just... Ugh. It's just a whole lot of archer. This is a very Fire Emblem Gaiden map. That's the way I'm gonna put that. And like... God. It's like half of the things wrong with Echo/Gaiden. Just kind of shoved into one map.
It's a little weird. It's just the boss is also just like really scary because he just doubles like most people, and he does like a lot of damage.
This is really tough. I mean, is he your first tier 3 enemy?
Except for Dozer, I guess, because he's tier 3.
Was Dozer a Baron?
Yeah, he's a Baron.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, but he's like your second tier 3 enemy, and he's like the strong. Well, I said the strongest. He's like, he's in one of the best classes in the game. besides like Dread Fighter, and it's just like ugh. At least you're
Hmm.
not fighting a Dread Fighter this early. That would fuck you up.
That would, yeah,
Uh,
no, that would suck. He's also just like, because he always stays on that side of the river and he like fucks with you a bunch, and you probably can't get like Claire and Python and whoever else to like kill him because he'll usually stay like off the river, and if you do, normally you take a fuck ton of damage trying it. And here I'm save saving because I'm about to try it. It's He's scary, and see, this is what happens. You take 6 damage, and Claire, despite being good unit in this run for some reason, I'm just that lucky, I guess, has very low HP comparative to Gazel here.
Gazel.
There's also a witch, 'cause why not?
Yeah, you know, just add an extra witch just for safe measure.
Hmm.
What is a Fire Emblem Gaiden map without an extra witch?
Of course.
Like
Gazel.
it's Gazel.
Gazel.
God. I think this map is probably a little better in Echoes because, like, in Echoes, I want to say there's a couple of times where you can just kind of water walk over there,
Yeah.
and I don't know if that's a thing in this game. Also,
Also,
the turn wheel makes
yeah.
this just more manageable.
Also,
Um,
I think Gazel is a little toned down in this one, or in Echoes. I mean, not in this one.
Probably
In the
not.
other one.
I believe.
Just
Ugh,
like
I believe
I
all
think the
Echoes.
like I think just generally you can get a little more to. Isn't there like an item? I don't know. I've never had trouble with Gazel really. I've always from and I've seen like a lot of people not many people complain. I've heard a lot more complaints about him in this game than in Echoes. So
I
maybe
think
that's just
in Echoes,
bias.
like I want to say your like unit quality is a little bit stronger for one reason or another, and then
Hmm.
also like I don't think I I hate looking things up for like Echoes and Gaiden because they don't really have good chapter names like everything else does. Like I can just any other game I can just Google Conquest Chapter 3. Can't do that for Echoes. Um
Yeah.
and But I want to say that there are no enemies in Echoes that are toned down from Gaiden because Echoes has a hard mode. Um,
That's
so
true.
at best it's they're turned down, or at best they're turned up,
Hmm.
or are the same. If I had to guess, um, but
Also
I'm not
because you just
sure.
have like Faye exists and is
Yeah,
playable.
Faye helps with this map quite a bit because it's just physic, and I don't
Yeah.
think Silk gets physic this early.
Don't think so.
Uh, but Silk does, and I mean Silk can stay out of range. I don't think you get rescue by this point, but like it's not that's not particularly useful. Um, look at that hit rate
Anyway,
and that
Python dies.
fucking death.
I save stated because I'm like, this might work, and it didn't. It really didn't.
Shout out to the fact that this
And instead I
Bonite has yet
surround
to
him.
take damage. I he has dodged everything.
Hmm. He does 12 damage to our Baron Alm.
Yeah, it's fucking insane.
It's
What
wild.
is this shit? It, man, I love when the Fire Emblem is guiding.
God, Fire Emblem is so Gaiden. Gazel.
So true. Gazel is part of Fire Emblem Gaiden. I feel like it's just
Hmm.
prophecy.
Geisel.
Gazel. What a legend.
I don't know what this witch has been doing this whole time.
Yeah, this witch has just kind of been chilling. Like
Yeah.
it's very passive. Until this moment. This moment it says "fuck you."
Hmm.
Uh,
And then gives
and now
Gray
it's
a
dead.
whole level.
Yep. You're in
God.
Paragon mode, right?
I am.
Yeah. Because isn't this game like super miserable when you're not in
Yeah,
Paragon?
you just don't hit promotion benchmarks ever.
That's
It
annoying.
sucks. It's just the same game, but it takes twice as long to get all the EXP. Which
Right.
like we just now got Python Sniper, so like, you would have to grind for Python Sniper otherwise.
Um, I don't actually know if Echoes improves the EXP curve or if it just gives you the bonus XP and that's what fixes it. Um,
I mean, this game also has bonus EXP.
oh, it does?
Yeah, I don't.
Interesting.
It's just not like a lot. I don't know if it's any different, but I know it definitely does, and it does the same thing where it caps out at 99.
Mm-hmm. I do like appreciate the bonus experience for this game, or well, Echoes, just because it makes everything just a little bit less time consuming.
Hmm.
And the only appeal of Echoes to me is the fact that you can play it really quickly, very
Yep.
short when you know what you're doing. AKA, you feed everything to Cliff and you throw him at problems and watch everything die. It's very
Yeah.
funny.
All right. So this map you're supposed to get Delthea, but I didn't draft Delthea, and I looked it up, and Luthier doesn't leave you if you just fucking murder Delthea. So
Yep.
sorry.
So it sounds to me like she's about to get skill issued.
Yep. Also, my unit composition is quite weird for this one because most of my units don't have very much res. But then there's Claire and Matilda who take like 1 damage each or so. And also Luthier,
Luthier is probably
which
not
is
too used
very
to them either,
goofy.
though. Oh,
Die.
hi, Dalthea.
And then she
Her
misses.
name is Diute? Or
Dute.
Diute?
Dute.
Diute.
I
That's,
mean, Luthier is Ryuto, so it's
yeah, but
great.
like, Diute is wild.
Dute.
Oh, I love early translation names. They're so funny.
They're so good. Oh wow. Anyway, she's about to die. Um,
Getting fucked.
and then I'm gonna do a
Loser.
funny. Oh no, I don't do a funny. I was
Uh,
gonna kill her with a Ryuto, but then I decided not to because I wanted that Falcon Knight promotion.
Falcon Knight promotion's actually pretty huge.
Hmm.
It's really nice. Um, I mean, you would have realistically hit it before the Draco zombies. Or, yeah, the Draco zombies. But, like, it makes the Draco zombies a little easier.
Yeah.
Um,
Just having a flyer that's capable of doing literally anything in this game on Alm's route is very hard. Um,
yeah.
but we've gotten a great Claire, so happy to say it'll probably happen.
It's it's very funny that in this game flyers are so bad. Because realistically there's a lot for flyers to do. It's just that flyers are so abhorrently dog shit that they're just incapable of doing those things and you just work around it. AKA use warp.
Yeah. Mhm. You just
Like
warp.
it's very silly. Um,
Very silly. What?
like there's so much forest and there's so much swamp and there's so much everything, and yet flyers are dog shit.
It's very Fire Emblem Gaiden to have the whole like general Fire Emblem class hierarchy just be turned on its head. Because you got like
Yeah,
flyers be bad, cavaliers be mid, archers be good, mercenaries be really good, you know?
yeah. It's yeah, it's almost completely backwards.
Mm-hmm.
Mages remain pretty much in the dead center though. Good
Yep.
for them. Mages I think are pretty unchanged.
Good for
Um,
mages.
good for mages. If anything, mages are like a little bit better in this game than they are on average, but like it it's largely contextual of like
Yeah.
feeding kills is easier with mages, and
And it's also
also
like
healing.
Excalibur, I guess, exists, but not for all
Yeah,
mages. That's like a specific character thing.
yeah. I mean that's just Tobin and
That's Tobin
technically Cliff,
and
but
Ryuto.
like, oh yeah, and Ryu. Um, but
It's
like,
this game is so
this game
goofy.
is. That's yeah, that's the way I'd put that.
It's just
It is.
a jank ass Fire Emblem game.
It's a beautiful Dreamcast Fire Emblem game
Hmm.
because the Fire Emblem is guiding.
The Fire Emblem is so guiding right now. Oh,
It really
baby.
is. Like, what would a world without Fire Emblem Gaiden even look like? I struggle to believe such an abhorrent reality.
Um, it would probably be an in like an incomprehensibly worse place because if
Yeah,
there was no Fire Emblem Gaiden, how could we have Dute?
exactly.
How could we have
Like,
how could we have Ryuto? How could we have Robin Fire Emblem?
uh, how are how are people living in like, you know, the 1500s when there was no Nintendo Entertainment System? Actually, Nintendo Famicom, 'cause this name never came out for the NES
Oh
technically.
yeah, that's true.
If you want to actually,
Hmm.
um, and then like how did they live without Fire Emblem Gaiden? I struggle to believe how I've lived without thinking about this game, much
I
less
know.
people who didn't even cross their mind. I don't get it.
Like how could there's Ninja Tyler Blevins, right? He's like the Fortnite guy and stuff, and he's like, wow, I really like Fortnite. But could you imagine if he's probably never played Fire Emblem Gaiden? Can you imagine how that must
Right.
feel to play Fortnite and not
Yeah,
play the predecessor, Fire Emblem Gaiden,
yeah.
the
Like this
progenitor
game,
of all
the
gaming?
progenitor of Fortnite. We would not have Fortnite without Fire Emblem
I
Gaiden,
know.
so just
Like,
accept that.
do you know how people say like one drink of like a Baja Blast would kill like the average peasant from the Middle Ages? Could you
Yep.
imagine showing like Dozer getting
People.
one shot crit by Ryuto Excalibur to like a small child in the Victorian era with like
Yeah.
scarlet
That
fever?
I think they would just fall apart and die.
Hmm.
Frankly, it would be really gross and violent, but I think they would just kind of fall apart. That their body would rip from the seams and they would die.
Yeah.
It would be really gruesome. Um, but this is what a world with no Fire Emblem Gaiden is like to these kinds of people.
Hmm. It's
Um, like
it's tragic. Like I
it really
honestly
is.
can't go a single day without Fire Emblem Gaiden. Once you play it, you can never really go back. Tatara's dead, by the way. Um,
Rip
but
Bozo.
Rip Bozo.
Love the single HP level up. I love getting boss kills and then just have shitty ass level ups out of them.
It's
My
truly the
favorite.
Gaiden experience. One of the many Gaiden experiences.
It's like I did a lunatic run of Conquest and I finished that like last week I think. And Corin, one round's talking me and got an HP level up, ignoring the fact that both her strength and speed were capped. But that's not the point. Is her magic capped? I don't know. But
You'll need that for the post game.
yeah,
Anyway,
the post
that's
game of Conquest.
that's the end of it's the end of
Uh,
Alm Gaiden. This one act part thing. Yep.
yep.
So
Almside Act 3 of the Fire Emblem Gaidening is
mhm.
complete.
Yeah. Um,
How
the
wonderful.
we're about halfway done with the progenitor of gaming, the progenitor of Fortnite, the progenitor of the
Yep,
Barbie movie. Um,
exactly.
Fire Emblem Gaiden. Peak.
Peak fiction, peak gaming,
Hmm.
peak strategy. It doesn't get better than this.
It just doesn't. This game is so wonderful.
This game is a gift from the gods. Like,
Yeah.
what would we do without it?
Every day when I wake up, I'm like feeling bad about myself, and I go to my bathroom, and I'm like I'm like rubbing the sleep from my eyes. I put on deodorant, and I look up, and I see Leon's portrait from Fire Emblem Gaiden hanging next to my mirror, and then I scream and I run out of the house and I get ready for work.
I I have a much less violent reaction. See, I have a poster of the box art of Fire Emblem Gaiden just hanging on my wall. And I wake up every morning and I stare into that poster, and I feel invigorated for my day. I am filled with determination, if you will, and I I get up and I have a perfect day because I know Fire Emblem Gaiden is with me,
God,
and no day can be bad when Fire Emblem Gaiden is there.
every day, the worst day of Fire Emblem Gaiden beats the best day of court-ordered anger management sessions.
Exactly, that's what I've been saying this whole time.
Actually, my every time when I go to my court-ordered anger management sessions, I just sit there and I caress Valbar's face on the box art of Fire Emblem Gaiden, because he's there
Shout
for
out to
some
Valbar
reason.
just being there. Like,
It's
only barely a relevant character, but the box art didn't look right with only two people,
it's
so they
like
had to put him on there.
there's like a trio of characters that has Alm in the middle, Celica on the side, and then Valbar.
Valbar, Balbo is important. I swear, guys.
Oh
He's
wow,
very relevant.
what a guy, what a game.
What a legend.
All right,
So
um,
beautiful.
see you guys on YouTube in the next installment of Fire Emblem Gaiden for the Famicom for the Forever Draft.
Woo.
I'm Roshijana. This is Professor
Irony.
Irony
Yes. The
and
professor.
the Professor of Gaiden. That's where he got his doctorate.
Yep. No, right. I'm obviously the professor of Gaiden. I've
Yeah,
always been.
PhD in
That.
Gaidenology.
Yep. That's how I got my PhD. It is in fact from Fire Emblem Gaiden.
Hmm.
Actually, that would make me a Doctor Irony, would it not? Unless
Oh,
I'm really bad at knowing which ones college degrees are.
I don't remember. I'm gonna be honest.
I don't
Um,
either.
but you're
Maybe.
qualified in some way.
Yeah, I am qualified to teach Fire Emblem Gaiden, I guess.
Hmm. And also talk about Fates on the Way, which is also
So true.
peak, also inspired
So
by
true.
Fire Emblem Gaiden, probably some way.
Exactly. As much as I say Conquest is my favorite game of all time, right? Where would it be without Fire Emblem Gaiden? It
You
wouldn't exist, obviously.
you can't
So,
say
you know,
Conquest is your favorite game without also implying that Gaiden is your favorite game. Like,
exactly.
and they're the same thing, you know?
Exactly. They're exactly the same. And so you must it's it's respecting your elders, you gotta look back at where we've come from to enjoy what we currently have. And that requires looking back to the predecessor of all gaming, Fire Emblem 2, Gaiden. I, that does not flow as well as I was hoping it would.
This. All right, I'm gonna cut the recording now.
Yep.
Bye.